because it's not really cool. But anyways, welcome to the last session of our Power BI series from Zero to Dashboard Hero. I know we're over-promising a little bit. It's great if you feel like you are a hero in Power BI. But the goal is really by the end of today's session is that you're even more comfortable with Power BI specifically. Let me actually test someone. What are we going to cover today? You're new, right? I think this is your first session. Yes. I'll let you have it. Yes, go ahead.
Data visualization. Okay. Visualization in this filters, slicers, and more today, right?
Yeah. All right. But before that, maybe because I see some new faces in the audience, who wants to explain what is Power BI? Shahad, I'm picking on you. Sorry? Good morning to you too, Shahad. Totally relatable. Good morning, Billy.
It's where we can take data and connect it with each other so that we can make business decisions out of it. And we can visualize it in a way that it's easy to read as well.
Exactly. Right. So for those folks who are new, raise your hand if this is your first time. Okay. Have you worked with Power BI before or a visualization tool? Yes. It's fine if you haven't, by the way. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Right. And what motivated you to come to the session today? What motivated you to come to the session today?
I'm actually love the idea about data analysis. Data visualization.
Are you a data analyst yourself?
No.
Student?
No. Yeah.
Great. All right. So hopefully by today's session that you'll be more comfortable. So we do have a guest speaker in our session today as well, and I'm going to introduce him in just a bit. But I also just want to make sure before we even get deeper into things that you are able to connect to the internet, right? And for those of you who are new, do you already have access to the lab material?
Yes.
Right? So let me just remind everyone that all of these, everything that we're doing, feeds into preparing you for the Power BI Data Analyst exam. So I can tell you that after these 3 sessions, you're almost there to take that exam, with some more practice. Anyone already is a PL 300 certified? Nice. You want to tell us about your experience a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit experience.
So how was the exam for you?
It was cool because I referred some Microsoft Learn material from Microsoft site. I learned those material itself. I got, I think, 85% score.
Very nice.
From there
Great.
itself.
That's
Really cool that test materials also is there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So the PL 300 exam covers these materials, and this is, if you've noticed, this is exactly what we've been covering the past week. So preparing the data, right? So who can tell me what is the name of the tool we use to prepare data in Power BI? The tool we use to do the transformations and everything. What was it called?
Power Query.
Power Query, correct. And then that's what you use to, you ingest your data into Power BI, and then you do some transformations. And then after that last week's session, we talked about modeling data. Can anyone tell me a little bit about what are some considerations to keep in mind when it comes to modeling data in Power BI? Yeah.
Making sure it's not many to many.
Okay.
And
what was the key word there? Relationships. Also, what's the name of the design or data design that Power BI works best with?
Star
schema. Yes. And what is the star schema?
That is fact and dimension table is there that you should connect. The primary key and foreign key is there. You should connect foreign key via the other table.
Okay. Yeah, that's there. So then in today's session, we're going to talk about all, what we did last time is we got data, right? We connected to some CSV files, some Excel files, a folder as well with some data. Then we looked at how can we actually model the data into a star schema, and then how you can write some measures and calculated columns and so on. And what's the name of the language in Power BI that we use to write such things? Not you. Anyone else? Sorry? Someone said it?
Thanks.
DAX. And what does it stand for?
Data access.
Data analysis expression, right? So, so with DAX queries, you can create measures, columns, calculated columns, and calculated tables. Anyone can tell me the difference between these three? It's part of the exam. That's why I'm testing it. Calculated columns, calculated tables, and measures. What's the difference between these three?
Normally filters.
Yes. Oh, you gotta raise your hand. Yes, Jen.
Columns are usually not saved, like they're on the air.
The opposite.
Nice switch.
But you're there, you have the idea. It's the opposite. Calculated columns, when you create them, it's saved in the data model. Similarly, calculated tables as well. It's just that it's a whole table. And then measures are values that are calculated on the fly and they're dynamic. Yes, you want to say something?
You said.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Guys, phone here. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me just check because I think I would want to speak. Do you want to just like chat with them until I just come back?
Hi everyone. So let me introduce you to myself, to yourself. Sorry. Okay. So I'm Hamza, and I'm Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. One and only here in Qatar. Okay. So it's a rare thing you can. So how I become an organizer? So I contacted with them, the department, and told that I am a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So why not I can be the opportunity and be the organizer or do anything for the Microsoft. Okay. So I've been doing voluntarily 2 years globally with the Microsoft. Okay. So working with the MVPs, Microsoft employees, and my main goal is to teach and promote mainly to the students. So university students or any student of any grade to teach them about Microsoft technologies. So the new tech coming to the Microsoft and that's all. So that's me. And mostly I saw most of you on QSTP. So I recently got the chance to visit there, QSTP, because of their summer boot camp. So I know many faces. I know her, maybe her, I don't know. So that's all from my end.
Yeah.
So we have to be there.
Right. Okay. So let's get into it. I'd also want to take this opportunity to introduce Ashraf. Ashraf is a Microsoft certified trainer, and he is an IT consultant who works here in the industry, and he has a lot of experience, and he is here to facilitate this lab and also touch upon some important techniques to keep in mind when it comes to data storytelling and techniques. Is there anything you want to say, Ashraf?
Welcome all of you. I have also one course on Power BI in UDB. So I request all of you to enroll for that course. I have a certified Microsoft certified data analyst, and I've been working in data engineering. So wish you all the best, and let's learn and grow.
Great. Okay. So let us just before I continue with the slides. I know sometimes when you just go straight into the slides, people get a bit lost. Let me just remind everyone where we stopped last time, right? So let me just open up a new tab here. So what we did, and if you are following along the labs, let me also just take you to the Microsoft Learn path. What we did last time is we finished this one, accessing, preparing the data, building our data model. We talked about hierarchies. And then now we're going to do these 2 ones, which is data visualizations in Power BI and reports in Power BI. And also we're going to talk about custom visuals, bookmarks. And this, if if we do get the time, I'll show you how you can publish the report, but you won't be able to implement this unless you have a license to do so. And then it would be really cool for me to also show you like some co-pilot features that we have in Power BI that could help you. Okay. Sounds good so far? Any questions? Okay, please, like I said, this is a safe space. If there's at any point you don't understand something, something's not clear for you, just let us know, right? So our goal here.
The last one we did the last session.
The last session, so we did everything until here. So this one, use hierarchies and DAX in your first data model. So if you're just following along today, good news, you don't have to start from scratch. You can start from lab 3 solution. Lab 3 or lab 4? No, it won't be lab 2. It will be lab 3, I think. Yeah, so it will be the solution of it will be lab 3 solution, yes. Because lab 2 will be the one with the data model, lab 3 will be the one with the other ones. You can check it out yourself. I think it will be lab 3. If someone can confirm that later and let us know. Okay, so, and then also just to remind you, what is the scenario that we are playing out while we're doing these labs? Or are we acting as? Like, what's this whole analysis that we're trying to do? CMO, right? So at the end, you will be building a dashboard that looks like this, a report that looks like this, right? So we were doing market analysis. We brought in data to, we compare how we're performing in different countries. And also we have like some custom visuals there. You have a map here as well. I think it's just rendering. I think I disabled something, but that's fine. And then we also have the option to compare ours against the different manufacturers and how we're performing. You have some conditional formatting here and all these aspects. So this is what you're gonna do in the lab. But before you actually do that, let's give you some theory. And then you can jump into the labs. Okay? All right. So let us get back to it. Okay. So again, this is what we're going to cover, visualizing and analyzing data using Power BI. And we already covered this, what Power BI is, that Power BI is a part of our whole end-to-end software as a service data solution at Microsoft called Fabric, where you have different experiences. So whether you're doing data engineering, you're building machine learning models, you want to do some real-time analysis with some streaming data, you could use Fabric for that. And we had a intro session about Fabric a while ago, and I'm planning to have another one, hopefully very soon, later in the year, after we have our Fabric conference. But we're just going to focus on the Power BI component. Okay. So again, Power BI is a tool that you could use to generate visualizations from different sources. You ingest the data into the Power BI desktop, which is the developer tool that you can run on your machine. And then you'll create reports, and then you can publish it to be consumed by different mediums. And again, we're in the lab, looked at preparing, exploring, and today we're going to look at visualizing the data. So when it comes to creating reports in Power BI, it's very important for you to choose the right visual, right? So you have different types of visual examples. Bar chart, pie chart, not my favorite one, line charts, and some custom visuals. So you gotta think about what's the right visual. Is it better to show this in tabular detailed format? Is it better to show this as just a KPI card? So you got to really put some thought into it. And it needs to be clear, the titles, the labels, the colors, and you want to avoid clutter. Sometimes you just get too excited and then just put a bunch of charts just to make it look pretty. But remember, at the end of the day, it's for a business decision maker to look at this dashboard and quickly understand what is the main insight that they need to take in order to take action. So these are some things to keep in mind. So look at this chart here. It doesn't even look like a visualization. It looks like it's just a screenshot from Excel. So you wouldn't want your visualizations to look as boring or as dull as this, right? You got to spend a lot of time like, the headers are too small. I don't know where to focus on. Like my eyes are all over the place. So you would want to spend some time to see how you can format it to look something like this. And this is what you can do in Power BI using native visuals. And you're going to explore this in the lab. So for example, I have like some conditional formatting there. I have like some data bars, icons, and I have like better spacing and margins, and the title is more clear. Okay. So there's also another thing for you to also know is that in Power BI, you can import themes. So you have your basic themes that are there. So just like, when you create slides, you go to the theme section and you see the built-in themes, you will see them in Power BI as well. You go to the View tab and you'll see the list of themes. You can use the built-in themes, and you can also create your own theme, and it's literally just like a JSON that you write, like you define what should be your font type and color and so on. And even like, for example, in a lot of organization, one thing you need to think about is like branding, right? Like any governmental report needs to have the logo at this certain place. It needs to have this color scheme, the sizes, all these things. So you can create a theme and then make it consistent across the organization. And you will see this in the labs, but almost every visual, once you click on it and go to the visuals pane on your right, you'll be able to customize all of these components. This is just one example. Like you'll be able to see, to apply, whenever you see this FX, right, what you think about is conditional formatting. So in this FX, in fact, you can write another DAX function that based on that value, you make the chart's borders change, or you make the title change. So you can really do a lot of customizations there, and you're going to explore this in the labs. So yeah, you'll be able to customize the font color, background color, in this case, like data bars, and so much more. So it's also good to spend some time to think about putting emphasis on what really matters. So if you look at this chart, it will be more clear for the user where they should look at. There's clear lines where they can compare it by. They have data labels here, the spacing between the columns, the buttons. It's clear that this is a clicked button because sometimes the colors, it could be confusing for people. So you gotta think about these things. Okay. There's one slide that's missed. Okay. So there's also slicing, filtering, and page configuration. Remember we mentioned last time, there's 3 levels of filters in Power BI, right? So there's the report level. And if you open up the filter pane, you'll see them. There's the report level, which essentially means this filter is going to apply across all the pages in your report. There's the page level, which is just the page. And then there's the visual level. So each visual can have its own filter. For example, maybe you want to do a sort of like a one page and you split it in half. And this part is just about this specific component and another part, another component. You can do that. So it's very important for you to understand the filter scopes. And it's also good for you to add slicers. So the user, when they want to filter things in a dashboard, they can either open up the filter pane and do things, but you also have the slicer visual. This gives, and it's more clear for the user what they can filter by. You can even customize it. You can have like tiles and make it more prettier and so on. So you're going to explore this in the lab as well. By the way, if at any point you want me to repeat something, something doesn't make sense, or if you're wondering if, is this possible in Power BI, please ask, use the space right now. Okay. And you can also configure the page size. So right now, if you have your Power BI open, it's like the 16 by 9 dimension. Maybe you're wondering, can I customize it? Maybe I want it bigger, I want it smaller. Yes, you can. If you just go to the canvas settings, you just click on any empty space, you see the canvas settings, and then you can control it. You can make it any pixel dimensions that you want to cater for different audiences. Are we good? Okay. All right. And then you also have this concept of visual calculations, which is a newer thing. So basically, if there's sometimes maybe you want to format a visual based on some DAX conditions, instead of saving this DAX in your model, you want it to just live in your visual. So you can do that in visual calculations. You won't be exploring this in the tab, and it's actually like still a preview feature, but it's good for you to know in case you were wondering, because sometimes, a lot of times, if you see like some really fancy dashboards, when you open up the PBX file, you see like hundreds of measures over there, right? So this new feature is, instead of having hundreds of measures just for like changing the color of the title conditionally, it can live inside the visual itself, which is something really powerful. And we also have paginated reports. Anyone has heard of paginated reports before? Anyone wants to take a guess what it means? Sorry? Printable version, right? Sometimes we get a question, you see your Power BI report, can I print it? Yeah, I mean, you can print it, you can export it or take a picture and print it, but that's not what a report is meant for. So there's really like two types of reports if you think of it. There's the report that's meant for like interactivity, and this is what you're building. And then there's paginated reports. So like, for example, invoices, or sometimes they need to print like the list of attendance, and it's like usually like multiple pages, and it's meant mostly for printing and consuming it through just like through paper. So that's what you use paginated reports for. Power BI reports, it's not really meant for printing it, right? Because you have all these interactivity components. Do you want to add anything, Ashraf, on this one?
No, I'll just go through the slides.
Okay, yes, yeah. So I think that now it is your part. I'm just going to mention about, do you want to talk about this one, or do you want me to? Okay, sure. Yeah, so just another thing also, when it comes to reports, usability, and storytelling, and Ashraf is going to tell us more about that, we have this concept of bookmarks. And bookmarks are whenever you see really fancy dashboards with, like, it almost feels like a website, right? But it's actually just Power BI. What they're doing underneath is bookmarks. Bookmarks allows you to create more controlled experiences. It allows you to hide and show different visuals, and there's a lot of cool things that you could do with it. You can also add custom tooltips, like maybe when you hover over a card, you get like a pop-up there of another visual. So you can do that in Power BI with tooltips. You can add a page as a tooltip as well. So that's really cool. You can also control how visuals interact with each other, because in Power BI, remember we said anytime you click on something, it filters everything else. But maybe sometimes you don't want that. You want this visual, like khalas, not to be touched by any slicer. So you have the option to edit the interactions between these different components. This is also just like an example of a dashboard. Like you could see, it looks like quite advanced and sleek, like with very clear navigation, and you're able to sort the data, and you have like a matrix visual here, and you can even have like images, and you can swipe through them. And also you can think about accessibility, making, like, you got to think about who will be consuming this dashboard, make sure the colors are clear. For example, if you don't know, like a big percentage of the population is actually colorblind. So you might want to think to incorporate colors that feature for those people as well, and with different mediums, and making it more responsive. So let me actually shift before I go here, since we're talking about this one. Ashraf, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
So it will be the same thing which Fatima just explained. So before I start, how many of you have used Power BI? Please raise your hand. So you are all working as a Power BI developer, right? So if you remember the slide which Fatima just said about Microsoft Fabric, right? You have seen that there is data engineering, data science, extraction, then Power BI, right? So the advantage of those who are working in Power BI report, because this is a component of Fabric, right? You are the one who is addressing to the management, right? So there is a saying in the IT industry, the more closer you are to the end user, the more money you make. Because you are the one who the management will say, I need this visual, I don't need this visual, I need this visual, right? So
It's not the most fun thing though.
because see, there's a lot of work in the background where machine learning algorithms, people are doing a lot of things, but you have that advantage that you present this visual to the end user. So you are in the right path. And how many of you are planning for the certification? How many of you are certified? Certified, mashallah. Great. Okay, so before I start, let me just see the idea of these slides are like Fatima has already explained the sections or the features inside Power BI. But what I want to emphasize is the importance of visualization, the UI UX, right? Because UI UX is something which we are least interested as a developer because we don't care about the design part, right? But Power BI is a tool because I had an opportunity to work with other visualizing tools from other technologies, right? But the advantage of Power BI, it is so easy that once all the data engineering part is done, using the Power BI, you can easily visualize, but you need to know the concepts, right? So here, it's all about, I think you might have seen, Padma might have already told you, it's all about storytelling, right? Because see, for the end user, why we need Power BI? For the management or the CFOs, what is the purpose? Why they need Power BI? Can anyone say?
We can express the data in a visualized way, so it's easier for like business owners or people who are not involved technically to understand the data.
To understand. Any other keyword?
Take decisions.
Decisions. See, understand. After understanding, the next thing is making decisions, right? So you need to understand that the report which you are developing will be presented to all the CFOs, CIOs, and CXOs, right? And based on your report is what they are going to decide how much millions of dollars they have to invest in the company, where they have to retire their product, where they have to enter the market. This is the kind of impact you are going to give to the management, right? So, and who is going to give? Power BI developers are the one who is going to present. And you have in Power BI, you have Arabic font also, it's supported, right? So it's very easy to toggle. You can add a toggle button and you can switch from Arabic to English. So here, the advantage is it reduces the time to insight. So as you might have seen in Fatima's slide, there was an Excel sheet. So it was so difficult to understand or visualize, right? So using Power BI, if you use the right chart, it is easy to visualize and it is easy to increase the user adoption because if you use the other tools, it's not the user interface. It's not that that user friendly, for example, right? Because if you go through the other tool like Looker Studio or SAP Analytics Cloud or Oracle Business Intelligence, they're all good. But the way you have the option to customize and tune, this feature is there in Power BI, and that too it is very easy, right? You might have seen one of the slides where we are talking about templates. You can actually create full customized template. You can have a JSON file and you can simply insert that JSON file in your Power BI, where you have all the loggings, all the brandings, logos, and all the things, right? Now, it drives more cost confident decision making and minimize cognitive load on the user. They don't have to think, the data is there right in front of them. Okay, I'm a company owner, right? I have offices in New York, UK, and Europe. I want to see how much is my business doing in US versus New York in last year. So it's just a click of a button. You have one DAX formula, you add that formula, and you can see in dollars how much you are earning. And as an end user, he can actually play around with it. He can change the year, he can change the product, and he can easily take a decision. So here, the principle is you should have a visual hierarchy, you should have a consistent layout. Now, we are not talking about any data engineering part. We are talking about the UI UX part. So here, from a development background, if you are coming, you might not have that creative mind. There are people who are good in it, but at least you should engage with them, or you should understand this concept. Like, for example, the visuals which you're adding, the font size which you're using, it should be uniform across. And in the navigation or the number of visuals in your slide, because as a developer, you put all the visuals, like in one report, you might have around 10 visuals. So, but as an end user, it's the best practice to have up to 6 visuals. So these kind of certain thumb rules you need to keep in mind.
And I just want to add one thing that you mentioned earlier about the importance of the visualization layer. 100% agreed. Like we've been in a lot of projects, like the team spent so much time on data engineering, working on great AI use cases. But at the end of the day, like, well, humans are very simple. I know we love like flashy, like nice pictures and something very easy to understand. We want like simplicity always wins, and having a good design really matters. Like so many projects, like the point that made it or break it was the visualization element. So yeah, it's a very important
because it's going to make a great impact, because as the CFOs, how what do you think the CFOs or CIOs, how do they spend day, in a day, what will be their routine? No, they don't go to the office to write programs, right? Why they are going to the office? They are going to the office to take decisions. That's all what they do, right? They go to the office 1 hour, they'll bring all the directors into the room, they'll ask them to show the visual, and they'll take a decision immediately, and that's it. So in this 1 hour, it is the responsibility of the director to showcase how your business is doing. And who is going to help them? You. Right? As a developer, you are going to help them. And that visual is going to take the impact in the report by the directors. So this is our normal Power BI report as a developer. When I was a developer, I want to put everything in one report. This was my report.
Showcase your skills to them.
So here, this is how it should look. You see the difference. It has a uniform color pattern. The size of the visual is, it is actually, you have the space between them, and I have divided into a grid. I made sure that in the first row I have 2 visuals, in the second row I have 3 visuals. There is some kind of concept I have in my mind, right? Not like simply adding import visual and creating the report. So this thing you should decide before going to the Power BI. You should have your creative people in the room, decide how you are going to create the report, what should be your template, what should be your color code, what is the font size, which font you should use. How should I, because in my organization, there is a particular font which is approved by the public relation, which you need to use in all your emails. So that font I have to import in my Power BI and make sure that all the labels are with that font. These kind of things you need to actually prepare, because without preparing this, if you start developing, it is difficult to make the changes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100% aligned on this part. Like, it's good to spend some time prototyping, getting it approved. You can use Figma as well. It has like Power BI elements there as well. And then once that's approved, then you'll go ahead and develop it. This way you have like shorter cycles where people just go back and forth. Oh, I don't like the color. I don't like the design, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also, if you remember the other slide which Padma was explaining about the templates, there's an option where you can actually go to the internet gallery and import the template from the internet into your Power BI. Or you can ask your creative team to create a JSON file and give it to you and import it, because it's not your responsibility as a Power BI developer to work on that customization. There should be someone else, because you should not be taking all the responsibility. For example, whatever theme, okay, Power BI support team there, but this is not my responsibility to design the theme. They have to have a UI UX team. They should give the theme. As a Power BI developer, I will use it. So don't go to that extent of supporting your company, and you will end up spending full day in your office.
Yeah, UI UX is a whole job on its own.
So this is how it is, right? So before you start, see, end of the day, if you remember the previous class about data modeling, it's all about, that is the core, right? Data modeling is the core. Once you have a clear data model, then only this Power BI visual will help you, right? So the more you understand about the data, the more better you will be able to visualize the report. So whether you are, developing a report for procurement, sales, or whatever it is, spend enough time to understand what each column is talking about, whether that column is required in your Power BI. If you have seen in the previous class, you have the Power Query Editor where you remove the columns. Remove all unwanted columns. Remove all you do all your transformations, and then come here. So before going there, first you understand why the management is asking you to create the report. What is the purpose? Because ERP has a lot of different modules, but there might be interested in one kind of consumer or product sales, right? So understand what is, then for that particular KPI, okay, I need this 1, 2, 3 tables. I need to do this joints. Then create the data model. So the flow should be, first set the context, then analyze the data, right? So you have the data, you understood the context, you have the data model, now you have the data, then start visualizing. Then ask the question why the sales has dropped. So why the sales has dropped, in the sense, this question, when the management is asking from the Power BI report, you should be able to answer that question. your Power BI report should be capable of answering the question why my sales has dropped. So if I'm running a, what is that, like some company, like an automobile company, right? So I have different sales. Now I have the, for example, one China car, the sales is down. Why the sales is down? So you will have the data hierarchy, you will have the filter, you will go down to the level in which region it has gone down. In that region, in which month it has gone down. In that month, in which quarter it has gone down. So maybe you will see the actual reason on that particular time. Maybe there is some other occasion, or there is some vacation, or some reason will be there, or there could be some reason where there's some engine failure happened on that. If you remember, Toyota now are, they are taking the car back to replace the engine, right? The 2022 model. So this kind of things, you will go to that level and understand why that particular thing happened. So your report should be able to give this kind of a answer to the management and make recommendation, and then follow this the narrative. So this thing you should have in mind. So because when I started doing Power BI like around 5 to 6 years back, we all think about how I can put this in the visual. That's all I care. But that's not what is actually required. You need to go to the end user mind, what he's requesting, what he's expecting. Am I able to give that? It's not like bringing all together to the visual, right? So now you have different visuals you might have seen in the previous class. If you are looking for comparison, there are visuals called column charts or bar, right? If you are comparing my sales this year from my sales last year. So you add the stack column chart and you see the difference, right? So for that particular KPI, which visual I should add? For example, if it's a comparison, what I should add? If I'm looking for a time series, which visual I should add? If I'm looking for a distribution, these are all the preparations, right? And if I'm looking for a relationship, which visual I should add? So these things you should be ready in the drawing room before starting the visualization or format. Now we have themes. So I think we already discussed about themes. So there is themes in the sense you need to first decide what should be your logo, what should be your banner. For example, in our organization, the banner is of a particular format. It's a unique format which is designed by the public relationship team. So I need to ask them to give me that file of this size as a JPG, and I should import it here. Because if I don't import this JPG and if I go to my director and show the report, he will not accept it. Because he will make sure that it should be compatible with the branding or the company design pattern, right? So this kind of thing. So here I'm not going to develop it. I'm going to ask the PR team to give me the image, and that image using Power BI, I will put that as a header banner, right? And you need to make sure that there is a space between the visuals, there's a line between the visuals. And you will see in today's class that there's a way to give shadow. This is something which looks better. These are all very easy in Power BI. Just select the visual, go to the format, enable the shadow. You see a small shadow will come on the visual, this kind of thing. So now bookmarks we already discussed, because bookmarks is a very important thing, because now just imagine your manager asked you to develop a report, right? And the manager is going to present this to the senior management. But that senior management, he want to see the report on 2025 January. So he doesn't care about going to the filter, selecting all these things. So as a Power BI developer, what I will do, I will select 2024 January, this category, this product, and I will select it as a bookmark. So when I go to this presentation, I will just, like in browser, you select the bookmark, right? Instead of going and selecting all the filters, I will select, okay, the 2025 January, sir, this is the report, right? So that is the concept of bookmark. So bookmark is nothing but you make the report ready and bookmark it. So when you go to the bookmark and show to the management, it will not take all the filters or any navigations or any formulas which you have applied. What was saved in the bookmark, it will be shown to the end user. So now define purpose, select visuals and interactivity, have the wireframe, you can use Figma as Fatima said, apply themes and then test them. So I think we are running short of time, and these labs you can do after the session also, because it's very easy. You can just follow these instructions. All what we are doing is how to format, how to do what we discussed now. We are not going to develop anything. We are going to use that format buttons. So the more you explore, the more you will know.
That is 100% correct. So thank you, Ashraf, for that introduction. Is you also want to cover?
Yeah, that's it.
So again, make sure you understand who you're developing for. It's very crucial. Don't just go there and blindly put your developer mind and said, like, really try to lead with empathy, which basically means putting your shoes in the person that is going to actually consume this dashboard. And make sure you have a clear story, like the flow should be very simple. The users it'll be easier for them to know where they should start looking at and where does the dashboard end. And you could use the tools that you're going to explore here, themes, bookmarks, and conditional formatting, and so on. Okay, so recall what we're doing. Again, let's go back to our Power BI labs where we're trying to resume conducting our market share analysis. So you could go ahead and continue from this lab exercise, data visualization and reports in Power BI. So in this lab, you're going to explore adding conditional formatting, adding the logo, because if you remember, we had this whole table, right? This happens a lot of the times where you would want, there's several logos in your report. Let's say you're doing a dashboard for like list of schools in Qatar, and you have all the schools logos for a number of them. And then when you click on it, you want the rest of the dashboard to filter based on the image that you click on it. So in this example here, it's manufacturers. We have this manufacturer table, which we have their manufacturer name, and we also have a link to their logo. It's hosted on GitHub. And then basically whenever, like, think of this as where like the content lives. So maybe when the logo gets updated, that link gets updated, and then your dashboard will also get updated. So you're going to explore how you can add images as logos and images as slicers in this lab. And also you're going to add a custom feed. And then in the next lab, we're going to talk about custom visuals and bookmarks. So you can go ahead and try that. I'm going to do some of the things here, but I also want you to actually explore it on your own. And if you're stuck, you can just ask us. Make use of the fact that we're here. If you have other questions beyond the lab about visualizations, maybe there's something that you're working on yourself currently and you want some advice on, we're happy to pitch it. Okay. And then just a note before you go to your lab, when we talk about custom visuals, because one thing you got to know in Power BI, there's native visuals, right? These are the native visuals, the ones here, like the ones that are part of Power BI, is developed by the Power BI team. And then you have custom visuals. If you click on Get More Visuals, you will go to sort of the visuals marketplace, right? So there's a lot of, the Power BI community is huge, and they're constantly releasing new visuals, and there's even some like there's a lot of certified ones as well. So you can explore how you can embed them into your dashboard. So word of advice, you probably want to use the certified ones because the other ones, there's no guarantee on them. Even the certified ones, you still got to use them at your own risk. But the Power BI team has validated at least the code and make sure there's no security vulnerabilities and so on. So there's a lot of cool things that you can explore. One of my favorite ones, I'm not like promoting them, but I really like this one called Deneb. There's a lot of advanced visualizations that you could do with a specific tool. There's also Lumel and some other ones as well. You can even add your own HTML content as well. Yeah, you had a question? Okay. Yes. So go ahead and resume the labs. So I believe lab solution 3. If I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and open that. Do you have any questions in the meantime? One day. And then, yeah, this project and that. Oh, we got? Yeah. I'm going to do some of them here. For those of you who want to follow along with me, for those of you who want to do it on your own pace, go ahead and do that. It's totally up to you. It's just for those who maybe like they don't have their laptop or
change all of them.
or looking at the screen.
Created all of them. That is why
Okay.
I presented to everybody. Like if it's-
Let us open up the exercise. So in this lab, essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at conditional formatting like we discussed earlier. So what is conditional formatting? It's basically depending on certain values, either in the table itself or in another measure, you want the formatting of the visual to change. So how do you do that? So if let's say you're doing it for a matrix, you would click on the visual, right? Anything got to do with visualizations, you always open up the visual page that is on your right. And the key icon to look for is the bar chart with the paintbrush, right? So that tells you that that is a formatting one. For me, it's there on the right because I have a different setup. I have like the developer setup there. But for you, it would be like somewhere here in the middle. Like you'd have 3 tabs and then you'd have the one in the middle, right? Are you able to find it?
Developer option.
Yeah, you just go to the settings and then you can, the table. Is this lab 3? Oh, you're doing it yourself. So you gotta go to the lab before that. Essentially what you did is we created a matrix visual. Yeah. Oh, but okay, so that would be the lab before this. So if you go to the lab before this, it will guide you, but the way you want me to tell you, this is called a matrix visual, right? So you have a table visual and a matrix visual. Do you know what's the difference between the two?
It's just a major difference.
Yeah, so table, with matrix, you can do something like drilling down into certain values. Like for example, in this case, if you go here, let me just actually explain it to the rest of the team because it's be easier. So in case you haven't seen this visual before and you're wondering what is this, this is what we call a matrix visual, which is a really powerful visual. Unlike the table visual, what we could do with matrices, with the matrix, is you could have the option to drill down into different levels, right? So a lot of the times, let's say you have, remember we talked about hierarchies last time. Let's say you have the whole company, and then you have each department, and then you have like teams inside the department. So you want your table first to have like the high level view, and then when you drill down into it, you see the next level, and then you drill down to it, you see the next level, right? So this is, you can do this with a matrix visual, right? So this is essentially what you should have done in the previous lab. Does that answer your question? Was your Intisar? Okay. Right, so the ask here is to do conditional formatting on this matrix. So how do you do that? When you select the matrix, you're gonna go to your visuals tab. So I have it already. Okay, not here. Let me just zoom in. Yeah. So you're gonna keep this open, and then for the matrix visual, actually to do conditional formatting, you're gonna right click on the value section. So I'm gonna do conditional formatting on the. Let me bring this down a little bit so it's a bit more clear. Do this. Okay. So I want to do conditional formatting on the previous year sales column, for instance.
See the squares.
Was there a question? Okay. Yeah, and of course we have Aziz here to help. He delivered an excellent session last time. So if you have some questions, you can facilitate. So I right click on the value and I see here conditional formatting. So you see a bunch of options here. Background color, font color, data bars, icons, you can put a URL. So let's say if I want to change the background color, Once I click that, I get this pop-up where I can define what should be the condition based on which the formatting for this column will happen. So I can choose different format styles. It could just be like a simple gradient, so automatically just see the values and then just make a gradient out of it. Or it could be based on some rules, like if the value is within this range, then have this color. If it's within this range, that color. Or you could have it based on a value of another visual. So this is, for example, if you have more complex condition function defining all of that, and then based on the value of that, you can make this value also change. You're not going to do this in this lab, but it's just good for you to be aware of. So let's say if I want to do a gradient one, you choose what should be your lowest value color. Let's say I want to make it red, and the highest can be, you can expand for more colors. You can add the own hexacode or the RGB, and you can choose that. You can choose to add a middle color. And then let's make sure we select it. And then let's press on OK. And then automatically you should get this conditional formatting. And of course, you could do more advanced things as well. So as simple as that. So each visual, you can do conditional formatting for it. Let's say I want to do, this is not in the lab, but I'm just showing you. Let's say I want to do conditional formatting for this column, right? So for columns, you select the visual, and then you open up, make sure you have your visual tab open. You go, anything got to do with design, it's in the visual, it's in the format pane in the visual tab, right? So there's a lot of features. The first time you're gonna look at it, it's gonna be a bit overwhelming. You're gonna be like, oh, which one do I click on? It's totally fine. The more you do it, the more you get used to it. And sometimes even me, I forget. I'm like, oh, how do I change the color of the label, the detail of the label? Like what I do is I just like go to the search here and then just like find it here and then right away work with it. All right. So in this case, I want to change the colors of the columns. So I open up columns and then I see here, I can either go to each individual one and choose what's the color I want, or I can apply setting to all of the columns to do, remember when you see FX, what do you think of? Conditional formatting, right? So I'm going to click on this FX button. Same thing, I get this pane opened up. So I'm also going to do like a gradient here as well. Let's say I'm going to make it like light purple until dark purple. And then here, then I get the visual there as well. So I've noticed, I think it is doing it based on maybe the count of country rather than the revenue. So that's fine, we can change that. So let's go here. You can always reopen it. And then I'm gonna make it based on the revenue, not on the count. Go ahead. Okay. Then now it looks like the ones with higher revenue are more darker shades and lighter are lighter.
Email is linked with our.
Right? So again, just like Ashraf mentioned, each visual, you can really customize it and you will do it in this pane. Let's say I wanna add borders to my visual. Like I told you, sometimes I forget where to go. I just write borders and I see here, oh, okay, I can enable the visual border. I can just turn this on, maybe make it a bit more rounded. And then let's just zoom out a little bit, then see here, then it looks a bit more, maybe a bit more nicer. Of course, you can do it way better than this, but I'm just showing you the different features that there are. Okay, and then how can you add shadow? Ashraf, if you want to demonstrate this part. But again, if you get lost, you just yeah, you can follow the instructions, but I'm just showing for those who maybe are not following it that one. Okay, so for this shadow, you just come here, shadow, and then you just enable this one. You can control the. Yeah, you can also do that from the theme as well. Okay, so now just take some time and explore the lab yourself. so that you can actually learn it. Okay?
Don't have to complete the entire lab today, at least, take one small exercise and try to.
So this specific one, it says it should only take you 20 minutes, and that's precisely how long we have. So at least you should be able to do this lab, which is just playing around with the visuals. Yeah. Yeah, man, you tangible. Actually, so it's good. It's good if you enjoyed your time.
That was a name.
You know what? How's it going with you girls here?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I can change it. Peter at home. Nice setting, better setting.
Yeah, come on. You're okay, so that's yeah. See how's everything?
But again, it's not that many.
Okay, wait, what's your name?
There are large brands.
How do you spell it? It's like how's it going with you? For example, have you used the try out the lab that you see. It will be a bit hard in the beginning, because the labs are like they take you step by step, like what you need to. Oh, okay, yeah. So you can. If you take on more, then what's yeah. They should all bottom. You will see, and if you before
काम coding करना नहीं मैं काम coding से
so you have a connector into data, right? So you just pass it in the host, the whatever was staying, and the data.
It's a yeah, last.
So we talked about it again. So remember right? Data engineering, data science, and all that stuff. So all of the data that is in Fabric lives in one lake. Think of one lake as the one drive for your data. So think of this as one drive, think of this as Power BI, think of this as for different things. A KQL database is what's used for streaming data. The lake house, unstructured data, warehouse, structured data. So if you have a connector directly to your.
I finished. Finish all of that.
Is it your final year?
But I didn't get it.
Yeah, make sure you try to plan for your PL. we have like discounts going on until the end of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it with you?
I finished it. It's like I verified all of this, but I didn't get an intro.
Log out and log out.
Yeah, I did it. That's right.
But it's not like that. No.
Where there's the
No, no, it says that to get the cert.
how are you finding this?
It says to get that certificate, you have to be like
Okay. How was your? Yeah, like for yeah, that's
but it was really fast.
you found it. Whatever.
We can just get the case. Yeah, here's the thing. So, yeah.
It's not us to hire me people.
There's a you bought the yeah, it's Microsoft.
So, not that very
But no, the Power Online is
I
similar as the desktop version. It's actually already is, but you need to have a password for it. Use that to create it. So yeah, I can see you. So to use Power Query Online, you would use what is it? The outflow, but that's just for you to know. And then when you come to data flow to okay, you can use a trial version for the next.
So if you want to be part of
It's such a similar to the Power Query experience that I got in the last. We were doing that session. All right, so let's say I wanted to. Yeah, this is like for she's talking.
yeah, that should be
Did that.
yeah. So you can call document.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm sure she's gonna make us anything so like if you wanna join the map, you're also.
I don't remember if it's a folder.
If you wanna be part of the like talk, whatever, need some media coverage. So like you can talk.
Folder live on the same.
You have to
Like
get data with.
Good stuff. So just talk.
So that's how we would do it. It won't be. I mean, that's what you can do. You don't call that. She would have you don't have. How to spell your name again?
This morning, right? Where is it? I just came back from the convention, so.
Let me send you the link.
PC insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the shit. Princess there.
It's the text.
Yeah, it's
We worked on it.
For the insurance.
We both want to go for, IT pretty much.
like
So,
we are
right now,
besides studies, we also.
I'm in the German accounting department, and before that, I was in credit.
Yeah,
Like,
Decided and it's not.
and then I'll be going to the commercial part. You take some fun. Like working in section.
Yeah, I know, it's called Google Colab, I did it.
State company. Oh, don't know.
Oh, it's like we know the distortions.
So I think you are.
They told me that you can do search and PhD perfect.
You're not sure if RBI or I'm sure you're wondering.
CP if you go through QSP.
Are you connected with the?
Private.
Connected with the.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It just makes it like trying to find sitting around.
The next cycle will start.
Passion. What is your passion?
Passion will be with me starting. So I started when I graduated.
I know that
This one. That
Super Barbie.
Yeah, I started with passion that was learning.
I think even talking about this, I also have a couple of other.
Coronavirus is being branded to like
Lab is like something. I didn't want to do programming. I want to do
Yes, me too. I think that visualization. That's how
you love the visualization.
Yeah.
You do this love the data.
Yeah, I can't be with so you can see that you do that. Well, I with people. So I can do that. And I'm like just very happy to learn this. I just like started like a couple.
You're working or like
Maybe like I do like multiple internships working online and learning new stuff. So technically I'm working, but like not fully employed. So if you have much opportunity, I'll go. You're looking for you start I am looking for someone to be what you are doing, data scientist. Okay. Yes, and just like which company are you? But
they're looking for so you have a blank slate. Tell me if you're in lost, like
for everything like up there. But I need some living good into the line of yours. I know you do. I speak to me. Shouldn't even go this. No, I'm just do this.
Time for the data.
यार मैंने अभी पावर बीआई का मास्टर किया तो वो थी
Because of both the case that we're doing.
I did because I think this is
I'm like, I mean, like,
I know working on them, but we're
like it's always like you need data, so migration, machine learning, like I have to get not presenting myself, but my team is for a young fresh graduate. That's why I think you're good in programming. Yeah, I do programming. Yeah, I did that visualization using Python. Syria. Yeah, I know it's like the I think how I repeat with I didn't expect that. Majority of the people know you know what yeah. But like differently, the point of view is yes. I just know you give me just the
yeah, but there's
yeah.
My pleasure.
Interesting. My friends from Chinese and I like her so much. And now it's recent. I learned that. It was so fun.
Oh my God, they're making fun of me.
Yeah. No. I like that. As I said, I like people. There's people that know everything. And I have done some, because people and they're together.
They keep making fun of each other.
No, I like Korean because they have a
But they're
different.
very,
Yes.
we're like number one. Yeah.
She doesn't accept this. It's only for Qatari people.
The point is, no, their parents, they invite me to their house. And كان أمشي يعني حتى لو يعني شو فرنش لهجة I know they're team.
عندهم هم بيقولوا مش هم بيتريقوا عليهم.
وعندهم يرفضوا الجيم بطريقة كتير واضحة.
Political science and पता है यूएस में डबल मेजर कर सकता है इसलिए मैं यूएस में अगर कर पाऊंगा तो you can advisor करता है यूएस में क्रॉस एजुकेशन भी कर सकता है University of Buffalo advisor आप किसको political science पढ़ के रखे हैं लेकिन अगर politics में घुसना है नया चांस मिला तो politics
We're going to
वैसे होने के बाद हम लोग
इसको देखना
very obvious. Very obvious, right?
ايوه بس
Yeah.
my best friend is انا ما عشتش اصلا في مصر انا جاي من السويد انا قسم بقى
عشان كده ما جاتش. انا مواليد الكويت we have the same history. Yeah, no. أنا مواليد الكويت. Interesting. I like that.
PwC में काम कर रहा है मेरा भाई
Nice.
नहीं इसका मैंने उसने कल बोला था ना हाँ यूएस में अब इसका लाइसेंस सर्टिफिकेट देगा लिंक्डइन का पहला सर्टिफिकेट तीसरा 24 सर्टिफिकेट है इसका
Point of service question. Most people, I want some people to see that. No class. By the way,
give me yours.
You had a question?
So like this is a report camp. So they said that you go to Microsoft Learn and do the this.
The learning path.
Yeah, the learning path, and you'll get a trophy.
Oh, maybe they mean a version. We were thinking an actual.
No. Wow. Not that dumb.
Okay.
No,
What do you mean?
I finished all of this, and it's saying that I'm supposed to get a trophy, so like I can move on to the next course, but I didn't
What happens when you click on this? Oh,
verify trophy because I don't have a trophy. But I already finished the whole course, the whole path for this.
You can email their staff, right?
have you done this one? Link your Microsoft
Yeah,
name.
it's
Green already linked. And it's the same same username.
لأنهم they're looking for queries هم بس their data.
I guess it's something got to do with the free code camp thing. It appears that the user.
Yes, I don't have actually. I didn't get any trophy after finishing this.
Oh,
Yeah,
even you didn't even get it from this one, but I can see here it's already ticked.
yeah, it's finished. I only got 5 badges, but I didn't get any.
I think you should email them. They might be responsible.
Yeah, yeah. I got the badge, but not the.
Many English, many man,
Any qualification, right?
I would say click on ask for help and see why they're not giving it to you.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
just
wait, see if someone else faces this issue. Because from the learn side, you already have the badge. Yeah, the badge is the trophy.
Oh, actually, no.
There's another one.
rank equality.
So I do have.
Maybe it's outdated.
Zero trophy.
Maybe, let's see, so one thing we can do, go back to these other ones.
I wanted to make it better.
Maybe take the assessment.
Find that.
You already done this part? This?
It's like 3 times.
All I need is so because we're doing everything. Data analysis, data migration, so
For the learning class is when you get a trophy. If there's any learning class,
it has to be. So there's a lot of.
There you go. This is the whole learning path. You gotta finish this whole learning. You get a trophy after you finish. So you gotta finish these. I think this is what I do. So try to do that. And if you still don't get it, I would suggest raising a ticket with the right? And let me just validate this as well.
Let's say even if
If you're wondering about like your badges and your trophies, if you do all of the modules in this learning path, each module you'll get a badge. And when you finish all of them, at the end of it, you'll get a trophy that you could use. So if I come here to my profile, I go to trophies, you should see this trophy about. Then you can share this trophy on your LinkedIn and I'm just gonna showcase one thing before we get off to the pizza break. Some useful resources. We got community.fabric.com. If you go to this forum, if you're stuck on any questions related to Power BI or other Fabric related things, you always have people helping you. So there's a section for each thing. So whether it's a service, the desktop, the mobile app, and the community is really active. Like if you look at this one question, it was posted like not so long ago, 15 minutes ago, and there's already like responses around it. And then you also have the data stories gallery. You get to see a lot of Power BI dashboards that other people created and shared that you could use as a reference. And we recently, because of our 10-year celebration, we had a whole Power BI visualization contest. You can see the winners of those and you take inspiration from that. And then the other thing I also wanted to show you is, okay, once you created your dashboard, this part is not part of the session that we're going to cover, but maybe you'd be wondering it. Let's say once you created your dashboard, you're happy with it. The next step would be to actually share it with people, right? So how do you do that? So once you're happy with everything, you would click on the publish button, and then it will connect to your Power BI online, and then you can publish it there if you have the permissions to. So what do I mean by that? So if I just come here to my Power BI online, let me make sure I'm logged in.
For example, if I make it
You just go to app.powerbi.com.
It's the whole file.
Once you have your Power BI report, you can publish it to the service and then you can have a workspace. So let's say I already have this workspace. And then when I click on the publish button, it publishes it here. Just think of it as like how you have like files living on your computer and you publish it to OneDrive. In good similar concept. And then you can see your reports here. So one thing you gotta know is when you publish a report, you get both the report and the semantic model. So the data and the reporting layer is published as two separate artifacts. This gives you the ability to reuse that data model for other reports and also set permissions for the report. Because in a lot of organizations, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ashraf, and maybe you can, tap into your experience. In a lot of organizations, there would be a team that would do the data modeling. All the DAX stuff, the star schema that we talked about, and then there'll be a separate team who will do the reporting. So that team just worries about like all the nice stuff, the pretty stuff. So one team can create the semantic model and then give ability to designers to build reports on top of that, but they cannot edit the data model because I know data integrity and governance and security is very important in larger organizations. You want to have what we call like a single source of truth. So both of these entities are published as separate. And I'm not going to go deeper into this. You can follow the last section in the dashboard in a day path. It talks more about it. But one thing I do want to show you is just the Copilot feature. It's really quite powerful. So once you have your Power BI dashboard enabled and you have also Copilot enabled, for Copilot you would need Fabric. So a user can open up the dashboard and then they can click on the Copilot pane here at the top. Are we getting? Yeah. Too zoomed in. There we go. So I'm going to click on the Copilot button here. And the Copilot pane opens up for me. It gives me the option whether I can talk to the report itself. I can also talk to the data model itself, which is really powerful. It gives me the ability to slice and dice some visuals that maybe that are not some points that are not available in the visuals. So let's say like I'm about to walk into a meeting and I don't have time to analyze the dashboard. I want a quick summary. I can ask Copilot to write the summary. What it's going to do is it's going to analyze the visuals. It's going to analyze the data and then generate a summary for me that I can then use in my team discussion real quick. And you also have the option to do it can generate visuals for you. It can generate report pages for you. You can have like narrative summary and a lot of other cool things as well. And the really nice thing about it is that you can actually see which visual did it ground itself to generate this insight, making the results more reliable. So this is one cool feature of Copilot. There's other things as well. There's Copilot feature in the desktop as well. So let's say you're starting out with a blank slate and you don't know how to proceed. You can open up the Copilot pane and then it can help you as a developer to inspire you and give you some ideas. It won't completely replace what you're doing, but it helps you accelerate a lot of the things, like a lot of the manual things, like Copilot will be able to help you with, like writing DAX queries and so on. So let's say I want suggest content for a new report page. It's gonna go ahead and analyze my semantic model and see like what are some good insights for it to have. So maybe I want to do like product segment analysis. I can either use this prompt or I can edit this prompt. I'm gonna go ahead and use it. And then what it's gonna do is it's gonna analyze all of this and then generate a page for me with this summary that I can then go ahead and edit upon. So it generated all of that. then of course I can go ahead and add, maybe like I would be like, hey, like add a year slicer, and then it's gonna go ahead and do that for me. Slicer somewhere. There you go. Now you know that it's live. It's something. But yeah, you can also now with the new Copilot option, you can even make it ground in your own themes as well to help you accelerate in dashboard development. So these are the features of Power BI to help you create better dashboards. I don't think everyone was able to finish the labs. It's fine. Like we said, you'll have access to them later. So do make sure to go over these sections, share your achievements online, do tag us at the agriculture community. And I hope that these sessions were in any way beneficial for you. If, again, you were probably at a 0. If you're at a hero, amazing. But if maybe you're like, like a sub hero or almost like you feel a bit more confident. Yeah.
Using the Copilot, you can actually ask Copilot to give a prompt of the report which you create. So what Fatima was doing is instead of adding all the visuals and creating the report, we prompted and Copilot created the report for us. So instead of, you can also ask Copilot to give me the prompt for this report. Right? And you can then you will have an understanding where to customize. The Copilot is really, really useful. You can save a lot of time. So try to try to be an expert in prompt engineering. That's altogether a different concept, but the more you are good in prompting, the more you can use Copilot and the more time you can save. You don't have to go import visual, change the color, everything. You can actually ask Copilot to use this template, create a report. This is this visual I need. That's it.
Yeah. Do we have any questions or comments before we wrap things up? Any feedback or things you want to share?
So we have to actually publish the report in order to access the Copilot.
Oh, that's a good question. So for Copilot, you would need the licenses for that. So you would need the license. When I say license, you basically need to have like Fabric enabled. So if you have Fabric, then you can have Copilot there. So, but you cannot use it with trial capacity. You have to actually purchase it. Yeah.
Any chance we can get 100% voucher?
100% voucher for PL. I think the ones that I remind me if I'm wrong, but the ones that I shared in the chat, you should have the ability until the 31st of August to claim free certification. Yeah, I shared it in the chat. So let me just reshare if I have the barcode for it, I'll share it real quick. But yeah, until the 31st of August. Let me actually just find that link. I'll share it right after this call in the chat. So yeah, as you can see here, it generated this visual for me comparing Japan and Nigeria. I can go ahead and add it to the page, and then I can analyze what it actually did, and then I can do my own. Like you see here, it went ahead and already populated these visuals for me, these components for me. Okay, so thank you again for attending these sessions. Please, if you have any more questions, let us know. I hope now you appreciate Power BI as a tool and how we are so happy and excited as it's celebrating its 10th year anniversary. And I forgot, we do have these gifts that we didn't give out. And if you're new and you didn't take the Power BI stickers, you can go ahead and do that. So Ashraf, do you want to ask them some questions and then we can give them a free gift? We don't have space for this. Just anything about what we covered today.
What is the I want to publish that a new team? How can I
You don't need
import a new team?
show them the sticker.
How can I import a new team in my PowerPoint?
Wait, let's listen.
Yeah.
Klaus, Jason Foreign.
Okay, thank you, Father. And thank you everyone online.